shit, ass. Come on, Pat.
Are we just saying naughty words?
Come on, Pat. I know mama didn't raise no bitch. Penis.
Uvula. I'm thinking of one word right now just over and over in my head that I really can't say.
No, you just say anything. We have the power of a bleep. Pat, I'm trying to say swear words here because our editor made the executive decision that they're only going to bleep out certain ones. So I'm trying to get all the swear words out here so our editor can confirm which ones they're going to bleep.
Yeah.
So shit, ass, bitch.
I'm enjoying this popcorn too much.
No, come on, say bad words.
All right.
Everyone thinks that I'm the asshole on this podcast. I think it's mostly just because I'm the one swearing most of the time. It might also be because of how mean I am to Craig.
This is true. There are words like transvestite, which I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore.
You said she the other time, and you didn't believe that.
I know. But I'm not up on the all the PC stuff. You know, I know the one.
You know, you swear a lot when the mic's not recorded. Do you just not want people to know that you cuss?
I'm just fake. I'm just a fake facade of a man. When the mic is in front of me, it just kind of.
Come on.
I know it's getting filtered out there.
Come on. You can say anything you want and then bleep it out. You have to decide what's bleepable and what's not this episode.
like knuckle.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just me. I'm a little too sensitive to the word or something like that. But I just think the word is still so aggressive. We should bleep it out.
Yeah, dude. It's not okay. And like that it will like the female listenership will go away. Even like the word bitch. I'm like, depending on how aggressively it's used or if it's directed at a specific individual, it may get bleeped.
Yeah.
But if you're
I don't think we've ever called anyone a bitch that like wasn't in some kind of like joking context.
Oh, he's being a bitch or whatever. But even if it's like, if they're always being bitchy or bitching, but it's like, she was such a fucking bitch. You know, it's like, that might get like, double bleeped.
Yeah. I can't even imagine a world where you and I said that about somebody.
I've said it.
On this podcast?
When I'm not on the microphone.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I'm a coward.
Yeah. You do. I'm going to start recording you secretly so that way people know how you talk to Craig as well. Because as soon as these mics are off, I'm buddy with Craig and we're laughing. And then you're like, listen here, you sucker.
And
we need these 3 episodes rendered and ready to go.
And well, the thing is, I say things that aren't cuss words that are just completely like, you just can't say that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's true. If you catch me on some of those, I'll never be president.
I don't think you're going to be president anyways.
Listen, you never know.
I don't think the president is allowed to shovel popcorn in their mouth on mic.
This is true. I'm almost done.
Anyways, the whole point of this intro was just so people would know that here at the Mick and Pat show, welcome, by the way, there's going to be a change in the censorship because Pat here is getting a little tired of censoring every word that comes out of my mouth.
Craig, you motherfucking piece of horse. Who raised you? Do you not understand that your trash bullshit is not accepted in this place? Do you not understand that we need music in our ears so that we can set the vibe? Now, I know that your of a mother was mother didn't raise you right. But all we ask is that you hit the button and play music so that we can enjoy ourselves. Like that?
No, I okay. Craig will talk afterwards. Music is playing now, Pat, just so you know. He is definitely crying behind there, giving me the thumbs up behind the stand over there. Craig, don't talk to HR. Mostly because we don't have an HR. Pat, I think you do owe Craig an apology.
I will strap him to the HR pole.
What is the HR pole?
You don't want to know. I left Craig there for 3 weeks. I forgot to leave him enough Purina dog food. He got a little skinny.
Okay. Well, anyways, like I said, I was checking around, reading stories about stuff that some SF guys are doing, or actual, like, you know, if there's any news on any teams and any operations they're doing.
Does that stand for super fun?
Yeah, super fun guys. And it reminded me of one that I've been wanting to talk about and share for a while. It's the story of this former SEAL named Thomas Mixon. Have you heard this guy?
No.
Dude, buckle up, bro. I'm about to take you for a ride.
I'm ready for it.
So this Navy SEAL was down in Austin, Texas. And Mr. Mixon, Mixon, Thomas Mixon, he served our country as a SEAL and had a little bit of notoriety, I would say, in the local community's eyes. He was in a magazine, Austin Fit, where, you know, they photographed him and they did like a little blurb on him for like how fit he was and stuff in the community. It says here, Tom Mixon lives every aspect of his life to the fullest. A secret he's willing to share with anyone who's looking to jump on his health and fitness bandwagon. A former SEAL, Tom conducts military-style boot camps at Town Lake and in North Austin, a job that he's passionate about, to say the least. My clients believe in what I'm doing for them, says Tom. It's not often that I don't wake up each morning ready to rock and roll. That's the bump of coke that he's taking, and you'll understand why I'm saying that now. Family plays an important role in his life as well, and he and his wife make sure to integrate fitness intelligently into their everyday lives. When he's not working out or training others, however, he spends time with his 2 young boys or plays a round of golf with his dad. Fitness is just one component of maintaining a happy life, says Tom. When fitness professionals begin teaching fitness inside the realm of overall wellness, I think more folks will jump on board and check it out. Fitness is just one component of maintaining a happy life.
Just one.
Now, I want everyone to know, I'm not trying to dox this Tom guy. Right? Tom is a SEAL. He served our country. I'm thankful for him. But this just is supposed to be a story of how sometimes if you don't die the hero, you live long enough to become the villain. So tell me, what do you think are these other components that Tom has incorporated to maintaining a happy life? Wife, 2 kids.
Yep.
Playing rounds of golf.
Some coffee enemas, some ice baths, and judging by the previous foreshadowing, probably hookers and cocaine. I'm
not sure about the hookers and cocaine or the coffee enemas. I'd bet on the ice baths, but think of another level of criminality. Think about something where if you had the training of a SEAL, the ability to essentially assess weaknesses and targets of opportunity, especially targets that have a lot of foot traffic throughout the day, and review those in storyboard and sandbox ways upon which those targets could be compromised easily, for the manipulation of assets stored within.
Mm-hmm.
How would that translate to the civilian world?
I'm thinking something that's like stealing your credit card information.
You're closer.
You know,
You're
something
closer.
like that. If you got this high volume or something like that. There could be, you know, at first when you were talking, I was thinking maybe there could be like some corporate espionage stuff going on that might be tickle their fancy, you know.
I'm sure they are employed for events like that. You know, I'm sure they can contract those kind of services to companies. But I'm thinking something perhaps be easier for one man to conduct with these skills. One former SEAL to really apply to continue to maintain a fun and happy family.
Upskirt photos with a flip phone.
No, nothing sexual.
Is there monetary gain, or is it just?
It is monetary gain.
Is he just pickpocketing people? What's his deal?
Austin police have arrested the man they believed to be responsible for at least 5 Austin bank robberies that have occurred in the area since December.
There we go.
The man, Thomas Mixon, 59, is a former SEAL. He was booked on February 26 and remains in Travis County Jail on 5 charges of aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. He spent 8 years as a SEAL, and at the time he instructed Navy SEAL conditioning courses. Granted, this article was written back in like January 5th of 2018. Yeah. Bank robbery number 1. First bank robbery happened on December 22nd, 2017 at IBC Bank on Ranch to Market 2222 in West Austin, where Mixon is accused of robbing the bank while holding employees at gunpoint. He fled in what police described as a dark gray pickup truck. Bank robbery number 2. Same IBC Bank was robbed again on January 5th. He fled on foot. Even at the time, police believed it was the same suspect who committed the robbery in December. Bank robberies 3 and 4. The third and fourth robberies happened at the Prosperity Bank on Northland Drive, west of Mopac Expressway on February 1st and 7th. Same description, and again fled on foot heading southbound on Belconis Drive. Bank robbery number 5. Authorities say his last bank robbery was on February 26th at the Plains Capital Bank on North Mopac near Palmer Lane. Police at the time said the man entered the bank and demanded cash before fleeing on foot. According to arrest affidavits, Austin police found the Mixon's vehicle, previously described by multiple witnesses, one who was able to provide the license plate number, at a home in Northwest Austin. Police stopped him while he was walking toward the truck, which contained a black leather satchel canister with the same bag description supplied by witnesses in the last 4 robberies. His bond was set to $500,000, and he was scheduled to appear in court April 4th, 2019. Bro, tell me that's not like some of the most cowboy shit ever.
I mean, I didn't guess bank robbery because it just seems so dumb. You oh my gosh. You said the vehicle he was using was his own?
His own truck.
With his own plates on it?
With his own plates.
I mean, that's why it's like, I mean, here's the deal. SEAL or not, I could go do that. You know, now I might not get away with 3 of them. But like, you know, I could take my own personal vehicle and my own satchel bag and my own weaponry and go rob a bank. Maybe not as efficiently. Maybe not as effectively. But that just seems kind of Bush League. I don't know.
You think robbing banks is Bush League? Or do you think the way he went about it?
The way he went about it and got caught using his own vehicle, I just feel like saying this, like, I feel like I could go rob a bank with my own vehicle and get caught versus like I would expect more out of someone who's highly trained as an individual on, like, you know, how to avoid being detected, how to avoid getting caught, how to leave no trace, how to conceal your identity completely.
Yeah. I think sometimes I think I guess maybe because I spend so much time thinking about how to do these things and how I would get away with it and seeing how other people have, that I would just assume someone at this kind of level of professionalism in a career field would be able to apply that same level of calculative, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, just that same level of precision to something like this. And to see that it just was Bush League, like in its execution.
Yeah.
Because this was back in 2018, but even in 2018, I mean, I don't know how much people really know about kind of everyday, it's not necessarily gray man in the term that a lot of people use gray man for, as being like unsuspecting guy with a gun. But there's a lot of gray man assets that have existed for a long time, such as using remote controlled like depositors for animal food. Like they have essentially things, and they've had them for a long time now, where you can press a button on a remote and this latch opens up to deposit food in a bowl for your pet. People have used those to press a button and it covers the license plate with a simple piece of cardboard.
Bond up your car, or just take a screwdriver and at least pull them off before.
Pull them off, and then it's like kind of like, well, when do you put them back up? You run the risk of getting pulled over just for the fact of not having a plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, go buy a junker for cash.
Get a register.
Don't register at that thing.
Yeah. Oh, don't register. You're right. Yeah.
Steal some plates off of a car that has the good stickers on it at the mall. Stick that on your $1,000 Corolla. Go do the job.
Yep.
I mean,
there's just a lot of things that they could have done. That
I have zero professional training. I've just watched a lot of TV. Come on, bro. Yeah. You got to bond up your car a little bit.
Yeah. What's crazy, though, this isn't the first case of this.
I was about to say there's specifically Navy SEALs robbing banks.
Not specifically SEALs, just SF guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there's...
You know about the Army Rangers?
No, but I know about a group of SEALs who did bank robbery also, and they all got caught.
Yeah. I don't know about the group of SEALs, but this one was a group of Rangers, Army Rangers, who robbed a bank back in 2006, 4 of them. And
this actually, you know what? This is the same. It was Rangers, not SEALs. Yeah. But yeah, so.
And they made off out of Washington State, Washington State, with like $54,000, and it was Bush League. Like the way the gang was tracked down because they failed to remove the front license plate from the getaway vehicle.
One guy tried to get to Canada or something, or
he got caught in Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
Luke Elliott, Summer. Luke Elliott Summer was the gang leader, and he was caught up in Canada. I mean, they robbed the bank quick. You know, they were trying to do it in under like 5 minutes or whatever, and they got it done in 2 minutes and 21 seconds. But like I already mentioned, they forgot to remove the license plate from their vehicle. A bystander noted the number and passed it on to police. Within 3 days of the robbery, FBI agents had arrested Alex Blum at his parents' home in Greenwood Village, Colorado. Worst thing to do is just go to the likeliest place you'll be found.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they suss you, don't be there, because they will go there and they're not going to be like, well, man, I guess it all checks out. We'll just leave you be. They're going to be like, hey, we got to ask you questions. Come with us. And then you're done. You're done, dude. They could keep you in custody, especially federal agents could keep you in custody for beyond like what most will think, you know? And so don't go. Here's my 2 rules. If you're going to commit a crime, don't go to the vagina you came out of, which means your mom.
Yeah.
And don't go to the vagina you're going into, which means your girlfriend or wife.
Yep.
If you do a crime, those are the first 2 places police check.
Oh, yeah.
And police phrasing is a little bit more creative than that, right? It's like, they're going to the that came out of or the they're going into. And that's the first place they go and send people to check. So don't do that, idiots.
Yeah.
Only dumb criminals get caught with that shit. Blum confessed to driving the getaway car. Named the other members of the gang, including Luke Elliott Summer, because of course he's gonna flip for the lightest charges he can get. On December 15th, 2008, Summer was sentenced to 24 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release for conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery, and a bunch of other shit, including possession of an unregistered destructive device because he had a hand grenade that he used.
A hand? Did he threaten with it, or did he
He
huck
threatened
it?
with it. No, he didn't huck it. He just threatened with it.
Huh. The 24 years. You know, if you were making, here's a simple math on this one. If you made $2,000 a year for 24 years, you would have the amount of money they stole.
Well,
Before splitting it with everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
So, it was 4 dudes. So what was the cut on that for each guy? Was it 4 guys?
Yeah,
It was 54,000. So each guy's getting $14,000.
Not even.
I mean,
Like each guy's getting a little over. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe 14,000.
And you know, maybe half of it, or even more than half of it, was just for the thrill of it. They're like, "Oh, we're SF guys. We could get away with this. We'd never be found."
Yeah.
You know, and like, it's just not enough money to. It's not going to change your life.
Mm-mm.
Not even a little bit. I mean, maybe you pay off a credit card. Cool. You know what? I was just like, that's crazy. Also, while my plan wouldn't make sense for the amount of money they're going to get because it would cost this much to do the job this way, here's the deal. You and your buddies, your SF guys, you start off in Mexico. Don't flee to Mexico. Start off in Mexico. Then you ruck yourself on back across the border without getting your passport stamped. Knock off multiple banks. Get back down to Mexico with all that cash. With more of an alibi. One, you're out of the country.
Yeah.
You never were back in it. Your alibis, we were
I
here.
couldn't rob that bank. I was in Mexico, man.
Yeah. Like, here's my passport. Like, what do you think? Like, anyway, that's just basic off the top of the head stuff here. Now, cost of that, you got to rob a couple banks at 50 grand to make it worth your while.
Yeah.
But
That's also the thing is like a lot of people don't realize like a 54K haul is way above average for bank robberies.
Because they don't, and this world's not cash anymore, man. They're not keeping a lot in there.
Nope. I always thought that if I was going to knock off a bank, I would go for the safety deposit boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And just start emptying those and taking as much as I can and then fencing that.
The valuables.
Yeah. Which is so brutal because, one, here's how I know I'm not hard.
Because
I couldn't do that.
it's not like insured. You're like selling grandma's pearls instead of like some insured cash.
Stealing stuff that like people really treasure and care about. Most of the stuff probably in those also isn't worth the 10 years of paying for the lockbox.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I could never be a bank robber. Well, I could rob banks, but I could never rob from people.
Yeah.
That'd be the hard thing.
Yeah, like if it was like in this theoretical world where we're criminals that we're creating, it's where it's like, you know, I have through a computer program, like, you know, all the banks in the world, they're dropping me a couple bucks every day. And they don't know it. And I'm getting pretty rich.
Yeah.
You know,
imagine being able to just make like $1 disappear from every single Chase bank in the U.S. each day.
I want everybody who has Venmo to give me 50 cents a day. You know?
Yep.
Heck, you know, that's a lot of money. And and you don't have to, you're not threatening anybody's lives with weaponry, you know, whatever. But, and I mean, obviously it's all bad to be stealing from these things, but my favorite version of this is the Secondhand Lions version. You remember that movie? The two old guys?
So vaguely, because wasn't that the one where they were the pilots?
They were
they're like brothers.
Yeah, and they were like World War I
pilots
or something. But they steal like a whole bunch of like treasure from like a bad like prince or something. You know, like bad Arab prince.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, you know, they just come back to wherever they're living in, like somewhere in Texas on a cornfield with a porch, and just have a whole bunch of treasure down in their basement from back when they were in their glory days. And it's like, you know what? I'm okay with kind of like, you know, if you want to steal a couple million from a dictator,
no sweat off my back.
I think that's kind of cool. You know, now if you got to kill people to do it, now you're already starting to get into some very eternal decisions.
Yeah, and I think the cool, like the thing that makes robbing banks so alluring, or just like stealing wealth like that. I'll do this, I guess, before I actually give you the numbers on it. Give me your best guess on how many bank robbers actually get caught. Like, of the people who rob banks, how many of them actually get caught? Smoke break. Hey, kid, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
And these are people who walk in and say, give me the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Percentage-wise, I mean, probably only like 20%. Because
it's
I feel
a little
like,
bit more than 20%.
Because I'd feel like because there's such a low haul in it these days, like there's not that much incentive to go find them. You know, I mean, you still want to go find them, but it's not like they, you know, there's some like, you know, legendary art thief making off with millions of dollars of stuff. They're like, yeah, they got like $7,000, you know, and then they disappeared in a big city full of people.
So on average, you know, over the cross of, since all the bank robberies that we've been recording, the FBI has been recording them pretty religiously since 2003, like in an actual like statistical manner of being able to reference and examine.
Only that recently, huh?
I mean, so they've been recording, of course, them since like the inauguration
like
of the
Jesse
FBI.
James.
Yeah, but it's just like since 2003, they've gotten way more focused and honed on like checking for patterns and trying to make like a statistical method out of it. But only 60% of bank robbers get caught.
Really?
And majority of those are caught on the same day they rob the bank because they're fools. They're idiots. Most of the times, if you get beyond a week, you're not going to get caught. Like the likelihood, and like the number one, like most wanted people on the FBI list, a lot of them are these bank robbers that like they just give nicknames to because they can't catch them. They have no lead at all. And I always found that fascinating and pretty cool. of just, I mean, that's why it's alluring, right? It's like, damn, I'm fucking smarter than 60% of the population. Like,
Right.
I wonder if I'm smarter than 60% of bank robbers, you know?
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I think you know, these metrics are only able to like reflect those we caught, right?
Right.
Because they're very hesitant to take and record things regarding like gender and race. When like we've had a lot of incidences where, you know, it's like a black guy will put on makeup and like literally like powder his wrist and wear gloves. So that way you're looking at it and like, that looks like a white guy under that mask.
Right.
Same thing. Like a lot of white guys have done that and like put on like,
or like wear like gang paraphernalia
Yeah.
to hopefully like make that divert to like, you know, most likely minority population, whatever. Yeah.
But-
Does it show the average like amount stolen? I feel like that would start to deter more people.
Let me go through here and see if I can find anything that references the average amount stolen or acquired each time.
Because this is making me think of the Key and Peele skit where they're planning a bank robbery, and he's like, "All right, listen up. Here's what we're gonna do. I've got it all planned out. Here's what we do. We go and we get a job in the bank. We start working, and we're in there, and we're like, you know, for a few weeks, you know, they're just paying us, and we're in there, and we're like." Just learning the business, figuring it out. And then they're just paying us every week. And then 5 years goes by, 10 years goes by, 30 years goes by. And they just giving us all this money. And then we walk out of there and they don't even know we taking all this money from the bank. And he goes, "That's a job." Because you might make more money being a bank teller than being a bank robber.
Honestly, though, I can't find an actual hard metric on the average amount stolen, because, like you said, often so much of it is like in hundreds of dollars that it's not even like. You just wonder, like, what is the purpose of that?
Is it just like drug money? People getting, but like,
I mean, most of the time it is someone so desperate to get drugs that they'll go and try to rob something from a bank.
Or desperate for anything. Like, yeah. I think desperation drives a lot of, you know, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, you know, you found yourself in a spot where you got to pay a debt or whatever. And
I feel like majority of the people who get caught, though, a lot of them are like druggies who they steal money solely for the purpose of buying heroin to get high, and then they get high and they don't give a shit that they're caught because like
they're just passed out with like blue hands from the dye pack just in an alley.
It looks like the average amount stolen in bank robbery in the United States is about $10,000. Interesting enough, the largest casino robbery in Colorado history just happened recently.
Really?
Yeah. $500,000 stolen out of a Blackhawk casino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it like covert or was it like overt? Like, give me the money.
No, it's pretty covert, man. Let me tell you this. So the only person arrested so far was a gosh, what is that called when they give out the money or chips and they like will exchange you chips for money when you're cashing out? Not a teller, but can't remember the term. Anyways, so this lady got a message on her phone claiming to be from one of the like what do they call it? Not the room, but it's the people who essentially manage the money and count it up and stuff. And they're like usually like the managers of where all the money's stored for being exchanged for chips on the floor, stuff like that. And I want to say it's something room. But anyway, she gets a text from one of them saying like, "Hey, at the end of your shift, you're gonna have to grab X amount and put it in a box and move it but be really like, don't try to be too sneaky with it, and don't, because we don't want it to look like you're stealing, but we have to move some cash, and it has to be cash for this payout. Like someone, something happened and like they got to pay this person who won a shitload of money or something like that.
Right.
And they're trying to be sneaky with it because they don't want this person having to be caught with like $500,000.
Right.
So the lady's like, all right. So when she's checking out and like there's no one else back there really at the end of her shift, she's not trying to hide it. She's like on camera very clearly. She would know where these cameras are. She's just grabbing stacks of cash, putting them in a box, walks out to her car, gets in the car, drives to this parking lot, and she leaves the box in a van at all being instructed on the phone. And then she just returns to work the next day and she's arrested for stealing $500,000 cash. And they're like, why would you do that? And she's like, well, here's the messages on my phone telling me to do that. And she's like, I thought it was my employer. I thought it was my boss. So she's currently being held, I think without bond. And they're like trying to figure out like who the fuck got all this money, because essentially like where they can't find the van, and like they didn't have her on camera going and dropping the money off in the van, and like they know she doesn't have it now. So like she seems very genuine. Like, no, I literally just thought like, wow, someone won so much money that like it makes sense. We got to be careful about this. We don't want them to get robbed right outside of the casino.
Yeah.
And $500,000 just up and vanished.
Oh my God.
And that was like just a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Making out like bandits.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. Hopefully if she genuinely messed up, she doesn't have to go to jail for this.
I mean, she'll get fucking fired.
Well, yeah, that's
she'll lose her
like,
job.
Yeah, that's one thing. But I'm like, hopefully, like, if she really is innocent of this, that she doesn't get jammed up. And if she is guilty of it, she's going to be in trouble. I was once, for a short period of time, related to a member of the Sundance Gang, Butch Cassidy.
How are you? How can it be for a short period of time?
I know. There was no blood relation. It was through marriage.
Oh.
My grandma.
That's pretty badass, though.
My grandma was married to her second husband. His one of his relatives was a part of the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Gang, and his name was Ben Kilpatrick, and he was a famous train robber. But then my grandma, they got separated, and so now is no longer related to. Makes the story way less fun, but it's a little piece of history that I'm cool to be tied to, the Butch Cassidy Sundance Gang. And there's a picture of him, a famous picture of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Gang. There's a famous picture of them all sitting together. And then there's a less famous photo of Ben Kilpatrick and one of the other Sundance Gang guys hung dead and being held up for the camera.
Wow.
Yeah. So, bank robbing, train robbing. It might not be worth it, fellas.
I always found it odd that, like, for bank robbing, they'd hang people even though it didn't have to do, like, even if they didn't kill anyone. Just because I was like, that seems like the least, I don't know, that seems like the most productive way to make a martyr out of those guys, robbing from the gov.
Yeah, and I guess
encroaching on the freedom of the West.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you look like the good guy when you hang bank robbers who probably spend a lot of the money and give it back to the town. And, you know, it's just kind of like, yeah, sure. The dudes who are out there just gunning people down and running off with money. Yeah. Like, I get it. But, like, you know what I mean?
And I think these guys, some of these guys were killers too. But also, they just used to not play around, man. There was due process, but it was a lot faster process than it is now. We always have these like active shooter caught on camera right there, and then their court, takes years and years of process. Yep. They're doing the insanity plea, blah, 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 back and forth, and then finally, they typically, it's like no death sentence, and they finally go to jail or whatever. It's like, years and years down the road. Like, it's just, old school was like, now there was a lot of guys who also were probably more innocent who also had to hang on a rope, which is a shame for those guys too. But it's like when the whodunit is figured out, they're like, yep, that guy killed those people. It's like, all right, anybody else see that? Like, I saw it. All right, get my rope.
Yeah, I think one thing I understand more though is like the cattle theft stuff.
Yeah,
like I get hanging cattle thief more than I get hanging bank robbers.
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're stealing from somebody whose livelihood is that, and like banks really, I mean, they insured cattle herds and stuff, but it was like not enough to live off of.
Yeah,
if something happened to the herd.
I wonder if back in the day, like, were banks as federally insured, or like, were people, or was like, were people going hungry or not being able to get their money because that money's gone in that town, or whatever. And so the effects of it and the fallout from it, it's like, someone in our town goes and robs a bank, no individuals in the community lose any money over that. Whereas before, it was also an actual finite material. It was like, this gold in the safe is the stuff, and like they're like, okay, well, just if
they rob the gold, then the cash is worthless.
Yeah, it's just like, or it's like, you can't be like, well, digitally send some more over.
Yeah, print some more.
It's just, it's gone.
Anyway, sorry, just checking my facts on this. So this chick, she got a message saying, it wasn't to pay out someone. It was because this is what the message said. It said, it was claiming to be from the cage manager, which is the person who manages where all the money and chips are, and another man who she believed was another cage manager at the casino. Were texting her saying that they were having a problem with the UPS order and needed the money, or the casino would be in breach of contract. So she loaded it up. She left the casino, and at 4:36 a.m., she met a man in a parking lot who took the box from her into a minivan and drove off. When she started getting concerned and calling them and they stopped answering, she called the casino and said, hey, so this just happened. I'm driving back to the casino. I don't know who we need to talk to or figure out what's going on. And so she drove back, and that's when they arrested her. And
oh my gosh.
She's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I legit thought it was like a pit boss, cage boss. Like, I thought I was doing everything. I was just trying to help the casino, and everyone's like, oh man, like, she's just dumb. Do we really? I mean, she's charged, she's being held on suspicion of theft.
She might turn out to be like the lady who was suing Wendy's over the finger in the chili. Remember that?
What?
You remember this story?
Oh my gosh, no.
All right, so this lady goes to a Wendy's, and as people do at a fast food restaurant, for some god-awful reason, order a cup of chili, and she's eating her chili.
Dude, I love Wendy's chili.
And maybe not after this fingernail story, bro. She's eating the chili, and on her spoon in there is the tip of a finger.
No, dude. How does that happen and not... No.
Tip of a finger's in there. So she throws a fit. She tells the manager about it. This obviously climbs the ladder, and she hires an attorney and is suing Wendy's for all sorts of, whatever reason you can, forced cannibalism. I don't even know if that's a thing, but like, or whatever. Like, there's like every single thing that she can. She's suing them for it. And this lawsuit goes around, and everybody knows about it. And it's like, and people are freaked out. People are like, oh my God, how is this happening? This is disgusting. Like, I am not eating this food. Like, Wendy's got like, kind of tainted during this. And then it comes out that she was in on it with this fella. And this fella was down a digit. because their big plan was all he had to do was chop the tip of his finger off.
Oh, my God.
And they'd be rich. And so their plan was foiled. I don't know. I'm sure they faced legal charges for it.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I don't know what the extent.
Libel?
Yeah, I don't know what the extent of how much their life was ruined after that. But yeah, so she snuck it in there, wrapped up in a baggie, plopped it in the chili. And
It's so gross.
here's what I want to know. Did she take a few bites and then put the finger in? Or did she go to sell it? And did she put the finger in and then, kind of
Spit it
like
out?
mix it down in there and then start eating? And it's gross, but I just want to know. I want to know these things.
I don't want to know anything about that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Did she bite the tip of the fingernail and have it on the tip of her tongue while she was freaking out? But to what extent did she go to sell this? You'd be so mad if this was just a fake story I just made up just to make you feel sick.
I'm already mad. I already feel sick.
Oh.
I still don't know what is your equivalent of that really grosses you out. And when I figure it out, I'm going to punish you.
Just gonna punish me with it. But the moral of the story, I think, is don't do crime. It doesn't pay off, man.
Sometimes it does, but often not. Dude, have you ever had a moment where something happened and you're like, shit, I should have just committed and just eaten shit so I could sue the hell out of this place? There was one time where I straight up slipped on a faulty freezer and everything was melting out of it. And it was in a Walmart, and I was like, I slipped and caught myself. I was like, oh shit, that good thing no one's around. They would have seen me spill it. And then I was like, fuck, fuck, I should have slipped and just smashed my head through the glass and just let it be a bloody committed mess and just be like, I'm burning this place to the ground.
Yep. There's these video. I was working as a security guard briefly at this place, and there's a video of an employee who was walking by a patch of ice and then saw it and then just laid down next to it and started rolling around and screaming. And it's this place has security cameras everywhere, and it just was they tried to do a lawsuit thing, and then they just showed them the video, and they were like, never mind.
Yeah.
One time I did have a great opportunity to just really come out big. Was during the middle of summer of 2021, lumber prices had gotten ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so dumb.
And so Home Depot,
they're still dumb right now.
They are still dumb. Home Depot had these boards. They were typically $15, and they had them for sale for 17 cents. And I was just like, we need to just buy all of them.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with them? I don't know. But I'm sure we could turn a profit on this 17 cents board. I didn't do it. I felt too guilty about it. But that was going to be my big scheme. To get rich, to get ahead in life.
Wow.
I was going to save so much money on that lumber.
Was there anything that you can recall teaching you at a lesson at a young age about being careful with what investment or opportunities you go in? The example I think of always is the other Will Smith movie, Pursuit of Happiness, where he's just stuck forever
with
trying to
dumb
sell
machines.
these fucking veterinarian x-ray machines. And I just remember seeing them that makes sense. Why isn't that why isn't he selling those? Do they not have x-ray machines at veterinarian clinics? I feel like they would. And the fact that no one's buying them and he's just stuck constantly trying to offload the last of them
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, dude, this sucks. This sucks so bad. And like, I've always remembered that as a kid, seeing that movie. Like, dude, I'm gonna be real careful about anything I getting like tagged along in as an investor with.
Mm-hmm. This one I learned early college, but I had a buddy who came into our college house and he was holding this giant case of drinks, and there was a drink called Verve, and he has this case of them, and he's like, guys, I met this guy today, like an acquaintance, and he sold me this case, and like now I'm gonna start selling. He's gonna sell me the cases, and then I'm gonna sell them to people, so that they can sell them to people, and like it's gonna make so much money, bro. And this guy's not nefarious. He's not ill-willed. He's not an idiot either, necessarily.
Sounds to me like a bag holder.
But he was gullible in this situation. And so he comes in and he's like, yeah, we're going to start selling them. And we're like, bro, this is a pyramid scheme. And he's like, no, dude, this is the real deal. We're like, whatever. And we started drinking his Verve drinks, which were horrible. They tasted so gross.
Gosh.
And we kept like drinking them. And he's like, guys, I'm supposed to be selling these. And we're like, bro, we're going to drink them. And he's like, stop drinking the Verve, bro. So we drank the whole case of Verve. And
how much was in a case?
Like 30 or 40 drinks, whatever. Yeah. So we drink them all just because there's nothing else around, even though they were trash. And we gave him crap about it for like the next 2 years. Like, bro, that was a pyramid scheme you were a part of. He's like,
idiot.
He was like, whatever, man. And then like 3 years later, there was this huge class action like lawsuit and people going to jail and all this stuff. And we're like, what company is this? And like the it was a company that was 4 more companies down was Verve. And man, those Ponzi schemes, they'll get you.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel bad, like, because I've had several friends fall into the Amway trap, dude. And like, Amway is just so nasty about it because like they'll tell it like you'll get paired with a mentor, someone who mentors you and how to do it, and like the mentor will never reveal to you that the real, like the way they have this dream accomplished, the reason they're wealthy is because of you.
Yep.
You sucker.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I always felt so bad because I had some friends who were on it, and I knew they had been hearing it. Like, I knew I wasn't going to tell them anything they hadn't heard. Like, other people had already been like, dude, this is a scam. And they're like, no, dude, you just don't get it. And like, I just always try to be so nice to them and just be like, hey man, I'll tell you what, like, I'm willing to be late on this. So in 3 years from now, like, if this has really made you that kind of money, all right, I'll buy in. And I said that 3 times over the course of like probably 10 years. Not one of them I know is still doing Amway.
Oh no. I had we had some friends and they call us and they're like, hey, we're launching a business. We'd love for you to come hear about it. And I was like, I'm entrepreneurial minded.
Yeah.
I know it's risky out there in the world. I'm excited about these people trying to, live the American dream, start something for themselves. So I like go to this party. We get there and yeah, they've got all these like oils and lotions and creams and shit. And they're trying to sell it to us. And they're talking about all this stuff and how like we can start selling it. And Shep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which one?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Believe that shit. Yeah. So, I just had to be sure.
Yeah. So him, dude. And so it's like, he's pretty like straight-laced, critical thinker, skeptical, like, and probably not someone who would like, he wasn't even going to risk like investment in like a sure deal, he's smart with his money,
real smart.
Yeah. And so it's like, we're just standing in the back, like kind of in like the kitchen of this house while they're giving the presentation. We're just back there, both like big eyed, just looking at each other, kind of grinning, like,
this is
like, bro, dude, no, bro. They can't believe they did this, man. Like they're screwing themselves. And oh man.
That's funny.
One time I needed a job so bad and I was praying. I was asking the Lord. I was like, God, what's next for me in life? I need your direction. I need your guidance. I need you to like tell me like, just like make a way for me. This
is last week.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is every day. But this is a couple of years ago, getting out of college, and like like, Lord, like, what's like, like, what's my calling in my life you have for me, and like direct me. And dude, I get done praying, this email comes through. Bing. I'm like, oh, and it's like this job offer for like, I can make so much money at this thing. I'm like, oh my God, like
Selling solar panels.
dude, the Lord has answered my prayer. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is an answer to like, I mean, like, it's like a direct line, like the Holy Spirit to to like the wealth boat here. I'm like, my gosh. And like, this person's like all these things, like, hey, like they just told me about how like they know who I am, and like what I'm about, and like, you know, through a mutual friend, and like they'd love to, you know, invest in me and see me like grow and like all this stuff. And fucking Amway. Dude. It was just like, so you look up at the sky and like, well, thanks a lot, you know.
Yeah. I don't know, is there anything that you noticed that like you wished you had bought in on, that you could have been a really early in guy and you saw it blow up?
I'm trying to think of anything that I didn't. Oh, you know, it's funny. In 2020, we all saw things like, you know, it was so weird and volatile. You're like, well, God, I should have brought that. Oh, I should have bought that. I should have bought that. You know, but one thing that comes to mind was during 2008, like when the bailouts are happening. My uncle called me, and he was like, and this was after the fact, but he was like, hey, like, man, a couple months ago, like, I was going to give you $5,000 so that you could invest it in Home Depot, because they were about to get their bailout. He's like, and all their stock went up like sixfold the next day. He's like, and then I was going to tell you to put it in AIG, because like all their stuff went up like tenfold the next day. And so I was like, why are you telling me this? Why are you telling me that you were going to give me like $100,000? But you just didn't.
100,000? Oh, well, because it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like he was like, just, you know, the bailouts were coming. It would have worked. But I've just decided, like, I can single-handedly manipulate the markets. I can get, dude, you want to see some stocks drop? Watch me invest in that on my Robinhood account. Straight down. Watch me. I can bring them back up too.
As soon as you
sell, baby, boom, right back up.
Dude, I will never forgive myself for losing my Bitcoin.
Oh,
you
had one?
I had a lot.
What? Oh no, bro.
Lot, dude, I had a lot, and it's so gone. It's so gone. I had a friend who was a little bit older than me, a little bit more. He wasn't a nerd, but he was just a little bit more kind of tapped into these things. Like, I don't know how to really explain it, but he knew of Bitcoin like back in like 2011.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's gonna be this big thing, and I'm just gonna put all my money from graduation into it.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have a lot, and I was so skeptical. I was like, dude, I don't know. I think you should put that money into something else.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about it a lot, and so, I as a bit, just to like satisfy him,
mm-hmm.
as we were talking and stuff, I got like $5 worth of Bitcoin
mm-hmm.
back in like 2011.
How many Bitcoins was that?
Thousands. I just stored them on, like, I remember I had it like on
mm-hmm.
a small, like, useless, like, I was using it for papers, USB
mm-hmm.
drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tossed it one day. Like, I mean, I'm sure I just lost it in moving or something,
mm-hmm.
you know, because, I mean, it was before I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just think about that. It's like, I've thought about that a lot.
Yeah, like, even if it
Be
was
a millionaire.
It's like, even if it was only 3 Bitcoins, which it wasn't, but even if it was only that, if it was a Bitcoin, that'd be nice.
I mean, that was when Bitcoin was less than a penny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was never going to be anything, and I just didn't care to keep track of it.
Yeah. But now you've got like the curse, because now it's like Now what about like when the next thing that could be Bitcoin comes,
Oh, yeah.
or the next thing that could be Bitcoin
Yeah.
comes? You're gonna have $5 in every single freaking little thing everywhere, waiting for it to pop,
Mm-hmm.
and then it won't never pop until you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That one eats me alive.
I didn't know that. That's brutal.
Yeah. It just sucks. Anyways, I guess I try to wonder that, because I am pretty entrepreneurial minded, and I try to think about what the next big thing is going to be, and I think it's going to come out of like this current recession we're in. You know what I mean? I think someone's going to get pretty inventive and make something out of this recession that will be pretty sleeper for the next 10 years and then blow up. And I'm just always looking to see what that thing is.
Yep. Like, dude, even just like the simplest, dumbest stuff, like everybody used to keep their chips sealed up with a clothespin.
What?
Right? Like, like you open your chips when you need to seal them up, you just stick a clothespin on it, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
Clothespin on the top, right? But this guy in like late 80s, 90s, whatever, came out with this thing called the chip clip.
Mm-hmm.
And it was where it was like, wide, so you could clip your chips. That guy made so much money.
Mm-hmm.
He became a very wealthy man just because he basically modified a clothespin.
Yeah.
And then made people think that that was going to work that much better than having just a clothespin on your chips.
Yeah.
What is that next chip clip, dude?
I don't know. I'm constantly looking for it.
I know.
Constantly looking for it. I think about a lot of it too is like, so much I think I think the next thing is going to come out of AI.
Yeah.
And just like what ChatGPT can do for you now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just try to constantly think about like the most easiest way to leverage that for convenience to get like something that like a ton of people would just rather spend 99 cents on than to deal with whatever thing is annoying them on the internet.
Yep.
Think about that stuff a lot and try to think about like how I could leverage that, just make one thing easier for people that they would just be willing to spend that money on.
Yep. If you can solve a problem someone has, that'll make you money.
Yep. Anyways.
Or you could rob a bank.
Or you could rob a bank.
You know how many chip clips you could buy with $54,000?
A lot.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, thanks for joining us again. Hope you learned something new. You could tell people about how these SF guys try to rob a bank once and they were too dumb to get away with it. You talk about chip clips. You talk about how Mick totally dropped the ball on his Bitcoin.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Sucks.
Gosh, that's so much money.
Anyways, until next time, kid.
Till next time. Dang, son. Didn't even sell it. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.